Good morning, everyone. Very happy to share a reflection with you today. It's interesting that the gospel is so small, it's just a few lines, and it seems like, well, that was it, that was quick. But I think there's so much that we can get out of this. As soon as I read this, I remember something that happened to me during the summer. I was a chaplain this past summer at the medical center downtown. All the seminarians that finished their second year of theology go into what is called clinical pastoral education, when they teach us how to be chaplains, how to minister to those that are sick and dying. So I was assigned to this hospital, and usually the routine is I go to my floor, I do rounds and see who I haven't visited, how they're doing, how they're feeling. But this day, one of these days, it was one of the last days when I was there. Something kind of broke my routine. As I was going up to my floor, a man stepped into the elevator. Both of us were going up together. He looked at me and he looked at my badge and said, "Oh, you're a chaplain?" I said, "Yes, I'm a chaplain." He said, "Man, I could really talk to someone right now." And then got to my floor, the doors open. I said, "Yeah, I have time now." The doors closed, and we went up to his floor. So as I sat with him, he wasn't a patient himself, but his wife had been in the hospital for 10 days already, unconscious the whole time. The doctors looked at her, didn't know what was wrong with her. And he was really growing desperate, wondering what was happening, and basically he was looking for answers. Answers for God, thinking that maybe he was being punished, him and his wife. Answers from the doctors because they didn't know what was wrong with her. And he sat there and he said, people call here to the hospital, family, friends, and they always ask how she's doing, but nobody asks how I'm doing. And here's a man who was suffering so much, was going through a very difficult time, and he had no one. So in the moment I tried to listen to him, and as he said, "Well, why is this happening to me? Give me answers." I said, "Well, I wish I could give you answers. I really wish I could. All I can do is be here with you. Be part of your experience. Be part of this moment with you." When he asked me for a reading from Scripture that could help him, immediately I was thinking of all of the Scripture, what can relate to him in the situation and all that. And what popped to the surface is precisely this reading that we see today. "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, that I am meek and humble of heart." And I say, you know what a yoke is? He said, "Yeah." Do you know how they put it in two animals and they pull? But notice that they pull together, side by side. So I think what the Lord is saying to you right now is, He's not saying that I'm going to take all the pain away, all the troubles away. He's saying, I want to walk with you. Carry my yoke, walk with you. And after I said those words, that gave him a great consolation. So how does this relate to us? How does it relate to us? I think many of us are familiar with that kind of situation in which the man was. We might have been the person who can't find answers. We might be the person who's gravely ill. But I think in those moments, that's really when our faith and our hope is really tested. It's when we realize really how much hope do we have, how much faith do we have. And here we're kind of in the middle of Advent, second week of Advent. And perhaps we started Advent with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of a really good kind of daily reading, of a spiritual reading, and different kind of plans that we had to prepare our hearts to receive the Lord. But perhaps by now, that resolution has kind of weakened, and maybe perhaps our hope has kind of gone down. So this, I think, is an invitation of the Lord to raise our hopes up, to really remember our mission, remember what God is calling us to do. And someone that I can really relate to is San Juan Diego. Saint Juan Diego, who saw the Virgin of Guadalupe appear, he saw her several times, and his mission was, go to the bishop, tell him to build me a temple. And he tried many times. The bishop didn't believe him. And the final lady said, come tomorrow and I will give you the proof that the bishop needs. But then something happened. Something broke into the routine of Juan Diego. His uncle became sick. He was so sick that he was on the point of dying, so he had to go get a priest. And then he remembered he had to meet Our Lady, so he went the other way around. And yet Our Lady met him and told him that his uncle was going to be healed. And she said those tender words to him, am I not here that I am your mother? So I'm not going to go deep into Our Lady of Guadalupe because that is coming in 3 days. But really, sometimes when we have our mission, we have our plan, something takes us out of that routine, out of that plan that we have very well laid plan for our Advent, for our life. And in those moments when that difficulty comes, what do? Do we keep walking towards the Lord? Do we continue feeding ourselves spiritually? Do we continue helping others? Or do we lose hope? So this is an invitation to regain that hope and ask the Lord for that hope, that He might help us in those moments of despair, of sickness, of trouble, and know that the Lord is there. And also a Blessed Mother is there, who is always praying for us. San Juan Diego,